it seems that a number of people, I think three, have been killed by mines. These are explosives that are put in the sea. There are a number of different types of mines. There are mines that are designed to destroy sort of ships of various sizes. Some of them, are quite big, massive explosion to take down a sort of destroyer or something like that. And there are smaller mines, sort of anti-personnel mines, to prevent people swimming in, sort of special forces divers, those sort of things, or even attacking the beaches. If people can sort of picture back to the Second World War and the Normandy landings, actually, all the beaches there were full of mines for ships, and also anti-personnel mines, which were then having to be cleared. Now, I think what we're seeing here is it's desperately sad. The collateral damage, if you like, of warfare. The Black Sea has been one of the great success stories in the war for Ukraine. People will remember a number of Russian ships from the Black Sea Fleet that have been damaged and sunk by Ukraine, and the fact that the Black Sea Fleet no longer exists, giving freedom of maneuver for Ukrainian shipping. So that has been a really positive thing. But also, I expect in the defense of, I think this place is not hugely far from Odessa, which is the main port in Ukraine. There will be no doubt a lot of areas that will have been water that have been mined in case Russia tried to invade. We've seen there have been several operations, and even in the last few weeks, where Russian sort of high-speed boats have looked to attack into not necessarily this area, but perhaps further east, that have been interdicted by Ukrainian defensive forces. But because these mines are all over the place, when they can break free, they're usually moored, with a chain to the floor of the sea or something. But over time, they can become damaged and break loose. And I think this would appear where these people were killed. It's quite a popular beach, and this is the first time we've heard of it. So one assumes that some of these mines have broke loose and have drifted towards the shore, where unfortunately they have killed innocent holidaymakers, out for a swim in the sea. The list of war crimes that are being committed by Putin or in Putin's name is legion and getting longer by the day. He is indicted by the International Criminal Court for ordering the theft of thousands of children from Ukraine. I have investigated his use of chemical weapons in Ukraine, which is another war crime, and his unregulated and illegal use potentially of mines would surprise nobody at all. Unfortunately, at the moment, he is out with any action by the International Criminal Court, and is unlikely to face the courts unless, for some reason, he gives himself up or is arrested as he tries to move around the world. One can see that, if these things are not maintained, they could well come adrift, and that does happen. We see that even sort of Second World War mines that perhaps we've forgotten about suddenly appear on the surface and appear on beaches, even in the United Kingdom. But I think we're talking about very much anti-personnel sort of sea mines, as it were, much smaller. It would not be beyond the bounds of possibility that this has been deliberately done by Russian forces, because most Ukrainian people have little to look forward to. And if even now your visit to the beach is potentially disrupted by these things, it'd be a bit like having a shark attack, I expect. Pretty demoralizing for those people involved. So, I mean, we don't know for sure, but and we don't know the prevailing currents, but we know that both sides use drones, including shipborne drones, unmanned sort of ships and boats. And it would be relatively easy, I expect, for somebody to put some anti-personnel sea mines on a drone boat and then drive it under cover of darkness to disgorge its mines close to the beach. So that is certainly a possibility, which no doubt Ukrainians will want to investigate. But at this stage, it's very difficult to say exactly how and why this has happened. But the fact that it's front page news is showing what a devastating impact it's had on the holidaymakers at this beach resort. Well, certainly the basic mine is a pretty simple thing. It's a bit of explosives held in a sort of some sort of metal canister tethered to the floor, and if a ship hits it, it blows up. However, there are more sophisticated things that we might not necessarily think they were mines, but certainly, drone boats with explosives in it, which can actually be directed, in effect, to doing the same as a mine would do. So, one would expect to see that that these things can be, not just dumb but also reactive. That would make a lot of sense. We might not traditionally refer to them as mines, but that in effect is what they are. And certainly, we've seen the Ukrainians using this sort of mobile mine type capability quite a lot on Russian ships in the Black Sea. And it wouldn't be beyond the bounds of possibility that the Russians have learned from that and also doing the same. But we haven't seen any sort of ship destruction mines as such being sort of driven towards Ukrainian ports. At this stage, this appears to be anti-personnel mines, so very, very small. And I suppose that is why we are discussing whether it is a deliberate act to terrify people by the Russian forces. Certainly, mines are incredibly effective. They affect your ability to maneuver, deny routes. That's what they're there for. That's what they're designed for. And they've always been very, very successful, for the last 100 years or so that they've been used. And the lifeblood of Ukraine goes out of Odessa and the other ports in that area. Ukraine is one of the largest producers of grain in the world and gets a lot of its foreign currency from that. When the Black Sea Fleet was pretty much destroyed, it gave Ukraine freedom of maneuver to keep exporting its grain. And we know how important it is because Russia has frequently bombed sort of grain silos in Odessa and was attacking shipping when it still had a Black Sea Fleet. So mines can be very effective. And, if there is any other increase in sort of Russian mining, it could severely impact Ukraine's ability to get foreign currency, which a great deal of it comes from its grain exports around the world and predominantly to Africa.